Hey everyone, welcome to the Sackhoff Show. I am your host, Katee Sackhoff. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful Tuesday. I am so excited for today's guest, and you will be too. But before we get there, I want to remind you all to stick around for that hindsight where we're going to talk about that guest, and we're going to have a real good time doing it because I love him so much. We also have a Patreon. Did you know that? We do. So come join us over there at patreon.com/The Sackhoff Show. It's a really great time. We're building a wonderful community over there, and you get a lot of really great things. We have extended hindsights. You get ad-free episodes. You get live chats with me, and you also get discounts on merch, which is coming, and I am so excited about that. And we're also going to have a lot more stuff over there. So if that interests you, go ahead and check out the Patreon. I want to remind you all, I have no conventions in June or July. We are now in July. Happy 4th of July coming up very soon. But also today is Canada Day. Happy Canada Day as well to our brothers and sisters up north. I want to remind you all that in August, on 9th and the 10th, I'm going to be in Dallas at Rebel Scum. We're doing a live show there as well. I am working Friday, so I will be there Saturday and Sunday only. So come out and see me and Jeff. Now for the guest. Today's guest is none other than the wonderful, talented, extraordinary, amazing friend, Aaron Douglas from Battlestar Galactica. You guys, I'm sure you know who Aaron Douglas is. He played the chief on Battlestar. He is such a dear friend. And he is also on a show on Hulu right now called Murder in a Small Town, 2nd season. They're filming it right now, or at least they were when we were talking to Aaron. Aaron and we get into how we met during Battlestar, and we also talk about what was going on in his life at that time, which is so interesting because he kept it so private. Aaron is a very private person, which is funny because to me, he's also this huge, grandiose personality. I learned a lot about Aaron in this conversation that I didn't know before. So I hope that you enjoy this episode. Stick around for the hindsight, and I am just going to get out of your way so you can get to know my dear friend, Aaron Douglas, a little bit better.
Hi, it's so good to see your face.
It's so nice to see your face. Where are you? I haven't seen you since Germany, right?
I know. Outrageous, huh? I am in Gibsons on the Sunshine Coast, so 40-minute ferry ride from Vancouver. I got about a month left in season 2 of my show, and then, so I got this beautiful Airbnb on the water they rented for me, and so I'm feeling very blessed.
And that is Murder in a Small Town, right?
Murder in a Small Town. That's correct.
I love it. I also love Kristen Crook. Am I saying her last name correctly?
Yeah.
I am, right?
Yeah. She is fabulous. She's a tremendous actor for one, but just the kindest, sweetest person. I first met her in 2003, I want to say, did an episode of Smallville. So in the read-through, the very first read-through of the show last year, I pulled up a picture of Kristen and I from 2000. She looks exactly the same.
She looks identical. I know every time I see her at a convention, I'm convinced she's sold her soul because she
horrifying.
Looks the same.
Yeah. I look like I've been stung by 1,000 bees, and she is just like the same person. It's bizarre.
I just look like I haven't slept in 15 years.
Well, that's what happens when you work as hard as you are.
Well, I just think it's what happens when you have children. Do you remember when your son was this little?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's a full-time gig.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a full-time gig. And you see these people who have like 5 kids. My brother has 5 kids. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? They're, and some of them are still at the house. So, yeah, like, oh, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah. I have friends that have like 4. And there's a part of me that would love to have more. I just don't know if it's a young person's game, man.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. The good thing about having more is if you space it out enough, then you get help from the older ones. It's sort of like self-babysitting. They're sort of self-caring for each other. But if you just have one or two and they're close together, then it's just a rampage.
It really is.
Yeah, mine's 29 now. So that's
29.
horrifying. I have a 29-year-old.
29.
What the hell happened to us?
I did the
29.
math in my head and I was convinced he was 20.
No. Yeah, he's 29 and just crazy.
Are you a grandpa yet?
Good gods, no. And if he brings a kid into this world, I swear to God, I will burn his house to the ground. No, he wants to travel and experience the world and figure out life and what he wants to do. And so I'm all about that. And he says, someday, but you got to meet the right girl and you got to feel settled. And he's more mature at 29 than I will ever. He bought his first house at 22 years old.
Wow.
And he's more mature than I will ever be. So, somebody did something right, but I don't think it was me. It was probably his mom. Yeah.
Well, it's a testament to both of you, because if you really fucked him up that bad, Aaron, he wouldn't. He
turned out like me.
No, stop. So Murder in a Small Town. Mm-hmm. So second season, almost done filming.
Mm-hmm.
Were you surprised when you guys got picked up for a second season?
Yes and no. Yes, because the thing with filming up here on the Sunshine Coast is we can't film in the summertime because it's prohibitively expensive, because they put the entire cast and crew up in Airbnbs and hotels. So we can only film in the off season. Fox doesn't like to make their decisions until March. So in order for us to film in the off season, we need to start end of January. So they need to give us an answer December. We got an answer like January 12. Okay, you guys can go. I mean, there were hints leading up to it. They sort of like, we're gonna pay for the set to stay there. We're gonna pay for all the equipment and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no from that standpoint. And also no, because we're not really expensive. We're all Canadian, full tax credits. They're only putting in, I think it's 40 or 60% of the budget. And then the rest is farmed out to like ITV and Chorus up here in Canada. So we're pretty cheap to make, and it's a good 1 hour of TVs for them. So I'm thrilled that we're back, and all signs point to more seasons. So fingers crossed, and we'll just see where it goes.
Well, whodunits, like murder mysteries, are huge right now. Like everyone wants a murder mystery. Like if you talk to a studio, like what are you looking for right now? That's what everyone is looking for. So you guys are just ahead.
Yeah, it's the sort of fictional true crime kind of deal.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we land a little bit. And I've had those conversations too.
So I want to go back when we first met, because there may be people who are like, Aaron Douglas, who? Which I don't think that there will be, but because the majority of my fan base is like, Aaron Douglas, super excited. How did Battlestar Galactica come to you?
I was a reader for the Canadian casting people up here. And so I read for the show for Apollo, which I didn't get, which is great because Jamie has to go to the gym. And then my callback was for Gata, which I didn't get, which is great because that tech talk, and I couldn't keep up with AJ. He's phenomenal. So I read for it, but I was also the reader.
Yeah.
In all the auditions, everybody coming through, I was the reader for all the Canadian stuff. And then I remember Reimer and Ike being in the room, and Reimer and Ike, they just kind of looked at, one of them said to the other, you got a lot of old guys in this show. And because Tyrol was supposed to be a contemporary of Hogan. So Tyrol was supposed to be in his 60s, 50s, 60s or whatever. And they said, yeah, well, okay. You know what? Maybe look at Aaron for one of these things. And so I was actually a couple weeks later, I was in a casting session with Grin and Heike, and they were casting The Office. And I went in to read for Dwight Schrute, which I didn't get, which is great because Rain is so good. But also, damn it! But at the end of the session, Heike says to me, oh, by the way, you're probably going to get something on that Battlestar show. It's not what you read for, but it's a different character, but it should be good. I went, oh, okay, thanks. And I left the room and didn't really think about it. And then all of a sudden, kaboom, we did Battlestar Galactica, and it changed my life.
Yeah, I mean, it changed my life too.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone on that show whose life it didn't change.
No, absolutely.
I find it so fascinating that you were a reader, because it was one of the things that that was so interesting about your resume, if you were. Like, when, by the time you got Battlestar Galactica, you had been in everything, it seems like. Your resume was so long.
Yeah.
And you'd been acting for a long time at that point, or seemingly a long time, but you were booking roles, like you said, by reading and reading opposite actors that were auditioning. And then they sort of look to you after the person fails miserably and they go, wow, you sounded so much better than that person we were auditioning. Here's the role. That's crazy.
Yeah. And actually, I hadn't been acting for that long when I got Battlestar. It was 3 years, maybe. I started really late. I started in my late 20s. But yeah, that was exactly it. They'd get to the end of the session and go, we've got this cop role we can't figure out. It's like, Aaron, you want to do it? Sure. Okay. So reading for these, I did, in 2003, I did the Battlestar miniseries, and I did 5 $100 million feature films. I mean, I had like 1 or 2 lines in each of them. And in 1 week, I was the only actor in the top 2 grossing box office movies of that week, which is just like, but yeah, I was very, very fortunate and very blessed that these casting people liked me. And you just get to the end of the session and it's only 5 days. Do you want it? Yeah. So, I mean, it's the greatest acting class I've ever taken, is being a reader, watching people. Like, I've seen thousands and thousands of auditions and people just like, what's your advice? Just, you're more likely to not get it when the camera's not rolling. So don't go in and be a jackass. Just go in and be polite and professional and say thank you and leave. Get out of there. Anything else? No. Have a great day. Thanks for seeing me. And
that is literally one of the things that I have said since like COVID and everyone started auditioning on tape, myself included, that I was the type of person that would go in and my acting is completely different in person than it is on tape. And people would hire me because I they liked talking to me in the room.
Yeah.
And, without that element, without the like personal element, it's gotten a lot different down in LA. Like, a lot of people who excelled in the room, but not on tape, are struggling.
Yeah, that's a really interesting take. Interesting point. The other thing, I know people who are tremendous actors. Great. They can't audition. They're terrible at it. And then there's people who audition really, really well and present really well, cannot act.
Yeah, they get on tape and you're like, oh.
Yeah, or they're a jackass on set. But yeah, it's, but in the room, they're like, hey, oh, he's really nice, he's fun. They're immediate. I always tell people, like, they're looking to see if they can work with you. If they like you, I got to spend 5 weeks with this guy? No, not a chance. And then they're also sort of like calling around to their buddies. Hey, I'm looking at these 2 actors. Have you ever hired them? Yeah, I hired them both. Which one would you hire again? Mike. The other guy? Nope. So yeah, don't be a pain in the ass.
Yeah. So why did you start late? Because I know that I remember the fact that you were not acting. You weren't an actor. Were you a teacher?
No.
What were you?
After high school, I was,
other than Aaron, what were you? What were you?
The existential question. What am I? All through high school, I wanted to be a lawyer. I thought I wanted to be a lawyer, but it turns out I wanted to be a lawyer on TV, because when I was a kid, I saw a movie called And Justice for All with Al Pacino. And he's in the courtroom screaming and yelling, I'm out of order, you're out of order, this whole courtroom's out of order. I'm going, lawyers are cool. I want to be a lawyer. And now I realize, no, I don't want to be a lawyer. My very good friends are lawyers and they just sit at their desk all day and So when I finished, I thought I'll take a year off and then I'll go to law school. And then that year turned into, years. And then I was a floor layer for like 4 years until my knees gave out. And then I moved back to Vancouver and started working for a sports nutrition company. And then I was helping people with their diets. Yeah, that's right. This guy, diet guy. And I got talking to one guy one time and I said, what do you do? He says, I'm an actor. And I said, okay, well, just sort of break down your day for me, your week for me. When do you get up? When do you eat? When do you work out? All that kind of stuff. And then he said, I go to this private school, this acting school called the William Davis Center. And Bill Davis was the smoking man on X-Files. People will know that. So I thought, oh, that's really interesting. So I went and audited a class, Thursday night class, and I thought, oh, and I did that a couple of times. And then the teacher, who was also the artistic director of the school, said, prepare something next week to come in and do a monologue. So I did a monologue and he said, you ever thought about doing this as a career? I was like, no, actors are those people. They're over there. No, it's not even something you think about doing because it's just, no. And I said, okay, no, I hadn't thought about that. But he says, no, you got something there. We have a full-time program starting in the fall. It runs Monday to Friday, September to May. We have 12 people. People send in auditions from around the world, but I'll keep you a spot if you want to take it. So I went home and I talked to my wife at the time and I said, what do you think? And she said, yeah, let's do it. So we both quit our jobs, got student loans. She went to SFU to study English history, and I went to the William Davis Center. And at the end of the year, one of the teachers pulled me aside and said, don't tell anybody else, but my agent would really like to meet you. And he took me on after a meeting, and that's it. I just started, the first thing I ever booked was Stargate SG-1. And then, it's just sort of grown from there. I've been very fortunate, very blessed. But yeah, I completely accidentally fell into it. I have no other discernible skills. I was a pretty good hockey player back in the day, but now, no. I used to be able to do the splits, but now I got to lay on the bed to put my socks on. So that career is, that joy is over.
I remember when you tore your groin doing the splits during Battlestar, and you sat on a freaking donut for an entire season. Yeah.
And
you were in
crutches.
So much pain, Aaron. I don't know. Do you remember that? Because I remember that.
1,000%. I remember exactly what happened, like it was yesterday. And yeah, just not being able to move for weeks, just in so much pain. And
you were a peach during that time, by the way.
Oh, I was a delight. I know.
This episode is brought to you by Green Chef. It is summer. I love summer. I love the way summer makes me feel. I love spending time out in the sun and getting warm with the heat. And I love moving in the summer. It is not uncommon for me to leave the house and not come back until the sun goes down. And that requires easy meals and eating as healthy as possible. So what better time to create healthy meal habits that last right now? What better time to get Green Chef? It is the #1 meal kit for clean eating. It really makes life easy when you don't have to think about your meals. I absolutely love it. I love the fact that my family can be out all day long. We can come home. I can open the fridge. I can take out a meal to prepare that's got all of the ingredients right there, and it's ready in less than 30 minutes. No thinking. My family loves doing these meals together in the kitchen. It is something that we really enjoy, especially after a busy day out, coming together and bonding after all of the gymnastics and the soccer and the this and the that. Bonding and cooking dinner together is a really important thing to us. Make this summer your healthiest yet with Green Chef. Head to greenchef.com/50Sackhoff and use code 50Sackhoff to get 50% off your first month, then 20% off for 2 months with free shipping. That's code 50Sackhoff at greenchef.com/50Sackhoff.
Yeah. No, Battlestar was a weird time for me. I was young and dumb and new, thinking that this is just what happens. We all just get gigs and we're just going to have an awesome gig forever. And Yeah. And then between season 1 and season 2, my wife passed away from breast cancer. And so I didn't process it at the time. And it took me years later to process that. But yeah, I kind of turned into a grump. And yeah, so as I've said to all of you beautiful Battlestar family, thank you. And I apologize. And everybody's been very kind to me. And again, sorry I didn't tell anybody at the time, but I don't know. So yeah, it was, Battlestar was a strange time.
It was, I mean, number one, you don't need to apologize. Apology accepted if you feel like you need to, but I don't feel like you need to. I feel like, and by the way, when I say you're a peach, I just meant during that time when you pulled your groin because you were in so much pain. Yeah. But, it's so interesting that you mention your late wife, because I remember briefly hearing about it, but not even knowing you were married. And it was so strange to me because I was like, wait, what? And
yeah, I'm private.
you were private. And I mean, what was it about her illness, and that you guys were obviously going through that during season 1, that you felt you couldn't share with people?
I don't know. I don't know if it's a sort of my cross to bear kind of thing. Why put it on to these good people? I'm always unsure of the relationships I have with people. Like, is this a genuine friendship, or are we just like goofing off on set? I know that some people were genuinely pissed off at me for not saying anything because they wanted to be there for me. And I get that now. But yeah, I've just always been like that. I'll deal with it. I'll just deal with it. And then I didn't deal with it well. And so, yeah, but, yeah, I don't know. It's a good learning going forward, because now I got people in my life that I can go to and lean on. And again, they get mad when I don't. So, but yeah, it's an important thing, to have people, especially people who are going, through stuff, and that you've gone through, right? Like what you're going through with your children. I'm wearing this for my friend, one of my best friends, Michelle, who was diagnosed with breast cancer last September. And so she's going through the treatments, and she's calling me and asking, like, what was the doctor saying this? The doctor saying that? I go, okay, well, that's expected. So it's, yeah, I don't know. As you know, everything in life happens for a reason. And it's the best thing we can do is just be kind to each other, support each other, love each other, be nice. Doesn't cost anything to be kind, supportive. Yeah, especially in these weird times.
Yeah, right. What is that the most valuable lesson that you learned during that time with the loss of your wife? Like, or is there something else that also rings very true of that time?
That's a really interesting question. Yeah, the only person I did tell was Michael Reimer. And I remember at the beginning of season 2, now reflecting on it, I realized just how kind this was. For the Chief's character, beginning of season 2, when we were down on the planet, somebody had just died, was dying in his arms, or was about to die. And they'd have a camera malfunction or technical and Michael would come over and go, Aaron, I hate to do this to you, but you got another one in you? I go, yep. He's trying to marry the work, but also support his friend. And, when Ron Moore found out at the end of the season, and he was horrified because he thought that I thought they were writing to my personal experience. That they would get a better performance by, let's kill a bunch of people in Tyrol's life. And I thought, no, I didn't, you didn't know. And I wouldn't think that anyways. But yeah, so yeah, the important thing is to let people know what's going on for you. Communication is massive. Let people know what's going on for you. And then you really find out who's there for you and who's just sort of there.
Yeah. Do you look back on it now and sort of see, can you watch the show from season 1, or do you see, or in season 2, do you see that struggle in your performance?
No, I don't really do that. It's funny when I watch stuff that I've done. Really, what I mostly remember is like what we had for lunch, what catering made that day. I have these weird memories of like, oh, I remember that scene because they made that beautiful lentil dish. It was so good. And yeah.
You remember those little tofu triangle things they used to make that you dipped in the honey sauce? Oh my God.
We had the best caterers on that show.
They were so good.
I have good caterers on this one. Great caterers on this one, but I haven't had anybody since that made food the way those people made food. It was outrageous.
It was so good. And just on the truck too. Like, I mean, I've had some really phenomenal catering, like on Mandalorian, but it's multiple different trucks making the food, multiple different, groups of people, on Battlestar. I remember when Grace would get like the poo-poo platter every single day where they just put a little bit of everything in a to-go container. And I was like, number one, how is she eating that? Like all of that food. And number two, it makes you realize how diverse the skills were of the people that were actually cooking on just a food truck.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we had that, one of the cooks was the South Asian lady, and she always made like a South Asian dish. So we had these, remember taking the chafing dish tops off and you just get explosion of curry or something like that. Oh man. I remember one time, I was third in line and it was Hogan and Doc Caudle in front of me. And they're doing the two old men talk where you can't understand the word they're saying. They're just like, and I got Tomo behind me like, what the hell are you guys talking? And Hogan lifts a dish off and it's this beautiful Indian bean dish. And it smells so good. And Hogan turns to Donnelly and says, Donnelly, you want some of these beans? And Donnelly goes, the only thing I understood he ever said, he says, Hogan, I would, but at my age, I just can't trust my farts. And I heard this smack and Tomo hit the ground. He was dying, crying, smacking the ground, going, no, that just didn't happen. But yeah, but it was like, it's those moments that I remember in the days and the people and the joy. And I remember vividly remember this day, you and me, when you and I figured out that we're frauds, that we have no idea what we're doing, and they're going to figure it out, and we're both going to get fired. When do you learn your lines? In the rehearsal? Same with me. I have no idea what I'm doing. Nobody ever directs me. I just do it.
Yeah, I know.
I remember that conversation on the hangar deck. I was like, thank you. Somebody who understands.
Yeah. It was, and I'd been doing it successfully for like 10 years at that point. Yeah. Like no one had stopped me to be like, hey, you should maybe try this, except for Eddie. Eddie was the first person who did it. The first person. Yeah. Your character of Tyrol was not meant to be as substantial to the show as he ultimately ended up being. I mean, Final Five. What was it that gave you the confidence at that time with everything you were going through in your personal life, which may have been what gave you the confidence, but to just continue to improvise and to add stuff in and to sort of like make sure that character didn't go anywhere? Was that your plan from the very beginning, or was that accident?
Pure accident. The entire reason for everything that happened is complete ignorance by me. I didn't know you're supposed to just say the words as written. I didn't know anything. And if there was a gap and I felt like I should say something, I just said something. And it got to the point where I think Tyrol was supposed to die in like that water episode. Like he finds out that Boomer, the Boomer character is a Cylon doing the water, blowing up the water tank or whatever, like episode 3 of season 1. And she was supposed to have killed him. And they went, no, we can't kill this guy. So in the miniseries, you remember the miniseries? They were going to have it like it was a Zoom call. They were going to have 4 screens here's the CIC, here's the hangar deck, here's the officers' quarters, here's the hallway, and there's no dialogue written. And it was like Adama saying his speech, or just, hey, we're looking at the different parts of the ship. And then Ron went, no, I don't want to do that. We're going to go to the hangar deck, but there's no dialogue. So the thing that got most favored nation for me from David Icke was the scene at the end of Adama's speech. And Dave says, because I had been ad-libbing, and he said to me, you got to say something here. What would you say? I go, I don't know. Just turn the camera. I'll figure it out. And it's that little thing. I go, all right, everybody, we trained for this. You're the best. Now let's get the old girl back in the fight and kick some Cylon ass.
Yeah.
And I said that, and I heard, yes, yes. And at the village, David Icke was up, yeah, America. And Reimer was like, oh my God, no. And so that from that moment on, Dave would come to me and say, I've got no, Apollo needs a line here. When he lands, what would he say? I don't know. Ask Jamie. Jamie, like, I have to think about that for 20 minutes. I go, tell him to say this. And it's purely me not knowing, just complete ignorance. But I remember them saying to me, you go ahead, keep doing it. And if we need one as written, we'll do one as written. And I would just, I don't need to say that. I don't need to say that. I'll give you a look. And they would just think, yeah, cut to Aaron's look. He doesn't need to say that line. And if I had known, it might have been a completely different experience, because I would have been sort of maybe locked up a little bit and said, I'm just going to say this. I remember because some of the cast, if you changed a line, like Mary would go back to her trailer for 30 minutes and think about why they changed the line and what does it mean now for her character and all that, which is her process, and good for her. I mean, she's fucking brilliant. And some people just, you can do my coverage first, or you need to do that person's coverage last because they sort of warm up into it. But yeah, I go ahead and ad-lib, Aaron, which I like. And I do it on my show now too, so.
That's so lucky. I don't remember. I have such a bad memory, Aaron. Long-term memory. I have a great short-term memory. I can tell you where my husband put something 2 weeks. Well, I guess this isn't long-term or short-term. I can tell you where he's put something 2 weeks ago because I saw it one time in passing, and I just remembered that Nike hat with the green thing is actually down in the truck under the front seat. Okay. And then so I always know where everything is, but I cannot tell you things that happened during Battlestar Galactica.
Wow. Why do you think that is?
I think part of it was that I was at that point so used to shows getting canceled that I never settled in, because I never believed that we would be there for another season. And so I had a really hard time making relationships with people. During high school, I had this mean girl experience where, thankfully I was not the mean girl. But I had this sort of loss of friendships where I no longer ever trusted friendships. I didn't trust that people actually liked me. I didn't trust that they weren't going to change their mind if they liked me. And so I had a really, really hard time connecting with people because I always kept myself at a distance. And I think that had an effect on my ability to remember certain things because I was never present.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, if I were to psychoanalyze it.
Yeah. Is it different for you now? You seem to let Trisha and those ladies in?
Yeah, I think so. I think it took a lot of years, though, for me to trust in that friendship. I should probably tell Trisha this story. It would probably help things make a lot of sense. But yeah, it took a long time for me to feel confident in somebody's friendship and the fact that they actually liked me.
That goes back to it's a piece of the fraud thing too, because I have my life is why would that person want to hang out with me? Why would that person want to be my friend? So I'm still sort of like loner guy. We rap and I go off by myself.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it though.
I read that your mom was is your mom a psychiatrist?
Therapist, yeah.
She was?
Yeah.
Is she still with us?
Oh, yeah.
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 Does she have an opinion about the way that you sort of process things and even the fact that you are a loner? And like, does she psychoanalyze you? Like, did she put you on a couch when you were a child?
No. But she does have, my mother's very much an introvert and I take after her, which is a surprise to a lot of people because they see me at a convention or they see me, on set or whatever when I'm participating. And I seem very, very extroverted. But for me, it's like I'm alone in a crowded room.
Yeah.
I go to set and when I'm on the police station set, they all go to the green room and sit in their cast chairs. I go to my character's desk and I set up shop at the desk until they need to put a light where my desk is. And then they move the desk and then I go stand somewhere else. But if we're filming outside or, like the green room is outside in a tent or whatever, I take my chair and I walk down the block and I just put it on the sidewalk and I just sit by myself. It's, I don't know. I should ask my mom if she has any thoughts on that. I'm sure she does. She has thoughts on a lot of things. So,
like most moms.
Yes.
Yeah, I describe myself the same way, as an introvert, which is so interesting because people are always like, "But you're like this big."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, around people. Like that's
a switch I have to flip.
Yeah, I turn it on. Like I'm not, my biggest fear, my biggest fear, like public fear is, I hate when people pay attention to me. Like if people sing me happy birthday.
Oh God, I leave the room. I run away.
It is literally the worst thing that could ever happen. It makes me so uncomfortable. It takes everything in my power. And I'm so grateful when people do it because I do understand the desire to want to do it. I do get that. But it makes me so uncomfortable that it has led to panic attacks. It's just an awful, awful thing.
I know one thing that people find surprising. Like when we do these Q&As at a con, and there's thousands of people in the room, give me a microphone and I will stand on that stage for an hour because I'm not looking at any faces. But it's 1,000 people, 2,000 people. Like, I don't care.
Easy.
I'm so much more comfortable. The more there are, the better.
100%.
One-on-one, if it was one person in the audience, one-on-one, I hate. Two-on-one, no, please, God. Let it be a sea of anonymity.
Yeah.
And all day long, no problem. Fill a stadium and I will stand there and talk. No problem. Mm-hmm. But to sit down one-on-one and just like, if I go for dinner with somebody, I need a third person. I need a buffer. I can't just be one-on-one. I need to come here and then, hey, why don't you talk for a minute? I'm going to go to the bathroom and go, oh my God, over the sink. This can't end soon enough. It's, I don't know. You probably experienced something like that too.
It's the same. I could stand up and sing the national anthem at a sporting event. But singing in an audition or to my husband, it's like my,
yeah.
It's like I hate it. I absolutely hate it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
We're so similar. We're so similar in that way. When you found out that you were one of the final five, I know that you had a lot of anger about that. You and Hogan both did, right?
Mostly Hogan. I wasn't really bothered. Initially I was bothered by it because I thought you're taking a beloved character and turning him into something that the fans are going to hate. And I was completely wrong about that. And I got on the phone with Ron and I spoke to Ron for an hour. And he said, basically it was by the end of it, he said, look, have we done right by you so far? Yes. Can you just trust us? 100%. Okay. I hung up the phone and And he was, I mean, absolutely right, 100% right. I think the choice of Tyrol and Ty humanizes the Cylons more than anybody else because of our arcs of just getting shit on day after day after day after day. You know, hey, you got a kid. No, it's not your kid. Oh, great. Hogan's wife gets killed. Like, it's just, I mean, man, oh man, they really just kept punching us in the face. So for them to turn out to be actual Cylons, I think is like, oh crap. Yeah, I mean, it's sort of a sociological study that I haven't done, but I know some people have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So my only resistance was that, but again, I was wrong, and I'm thrilled that I'm honored to be one of the final five. I think it's a really, really cool thing.
Yeah. How did your life change after the show? Like career-wise, but your personal life. Like what surprised you the most about when it ended?
How hard it is to get on a show.
Mm.
You know, like I thought when we were getting close to being done, I'm just like, can we just be done so we can all go do another show, go do something else? It's like, it doesn't work that way. It's a lot more difficult than you think. But Battlestar did open doors, because in that time and afterwards, I'm sure you experienced the same thing. Producers wanted to read you because they wanted to meet you. Mm-hmm. I love your show. Oh, I love your show. And then all the convention stuff, flying around the world on someone else's dime, getting treated like a demigod for a weekend is just unbelievably special. The people that I've met, the stories that I've heard from just people all over the globe and how it impacted them and what it means to them. And so, yeah, it's a real treat to have been part of something so special that is so enduring. And people are now, who were of an age back then, are now having kids who are old enough and they can rewatch it and see it through their child's eyes for the first time. And so that's a pretty cool experience too. People telling me about that. My son's finally old enough that we can watch the show. I said, oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's so wild watching it again and watching him react to things and being surprised and excited. And yeah, it's, you know, a door opener, and yeah. And then also realizing they don't let you ad lib everywhere. They want you to hit that comma and that period, and the words have to be in that order, not that order. Mm-hmm. But nobody talks like this. Try and say those three words together out loud, moving your mouth, and not just in your head, 3 o'clock in the morning, typing it on a keyboard. That consonant does not follow that consonant, does not follow that consonant. So you cannot say those words together without going click, 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 click. Yeah, I don't know. It was a really amazing experience that I will be eternally grateful for. Yeah.
Did you have any problems on set after Battlestar because of the having to learn the thing about the memorization and that everything's not as collaborative as Battlestar Galactica?
No, I've been blessed with memory for dialogue like that. I still learn my dialogue in the rehearsal. I don't really know what we're doing half the time. Scene 33, that doesn't mean anything to me. Let's just read the words. So
do you really still learn your dialogue during the rehearsal? Yeah.
I don't really even read. I don't read the scripts. I don't really know what's happening. I just know what's happening in front of me. Because for some, you know, the argument can be made, my character doesn't know any of that other stuff. So it's not really important for me to know it. Until it's told to me, then it's fresh and it's new information. Not because I've read the script and I go, oh yeah, but what scene are we? Because I don't find that out till later. Well, if I don't know it, I don't know it. So I only know what's going on and being presented to me in real time. So I think there's something to that. It's also, yeah, it's my process. It's how I work. It keeps it fresh, interesting. I'm also always having to think, how am I responding to this? What do I know to answer this question? So yeah, but because I can memorize quickly and I can memorize if they want it as written, I can do as written. Yeah. I just did a show in January. This is the first time this has happened to me. I did a show in January It's for Paramount Plus. It's the JonBenet Ramsey story. And I play a real life guy, the head profiler for the FBI. And this scene, one scene, 12 pages long, 17-minute takes. The first 3 pages is me standing at the end of a boardroom, just giving exposition, stats and this and that and this and that. I spent the entire Christmas break trying to memorize this thing, and I could not wrap my brain around it. It's the only time I've ever experienced walking onto set going, this fraud thing is not going to work for me this time. I don't have a goddamn clue what I'm doing. And man, do I really have this dialogue? Do I really have it? I don't know. I'm just like, I recorded it. I listened to it. I listened to it on the plane, just like myself repeat, and just to sort of like, if I could just parrot myself. Yeah, that's the one time that it's really kind of bit me, but I worked on it. I tried. But apparently,
what happened?
I did a take. I started doing a take, and something happened. I blanked on a word, and I went, sorry, I got to start again. And then I restarted the take, and somebody in the hallway tripped and fell, and I went, sorry, I just got distracted over there. And now I'm in my head going, you don't know this at all. You're done. And then the third take, I did it. I got it. Ran out there. And then the director comes up and go, oh no, what did I do? And he said, I really like quick dialogue and I really like it, but slow it down.
Ooh, that's helpful.
Yeah. I'm like, oh man. But I memorized it saying it really quickly because that's what I do to myself. I say things really quickly or I mumble. And then when I go into ADR, I have to match. Oh, I don't feel like talking that fast. It's 8:00 in the morning. So then I just slowed it down and then I got into the rhythm and that director never talked to me again. And the word is afterwards, everybody was over the moon. So, okay. I don't know.
That is one of my biggest fears, showing up unprepared. After Battlestar, I did memorize my dialogue. Like, that became a thing where during Battlestar, like if I had a lot to say, I memorized it for sure. Little scenes I wouldn't. On Longmire,
which you were fabulous in, by the way. I loved that show.
Oh, bless you.
I loved that show. Oh, yeah.
So I had a panic attack on Longmire because I got hired. And now, granted, Battlestar was like my 4th show. So I knew that this was not normal to be able to, collaborate and ad-lib and all this stuff. So I get Longmire and we get a note from the producers saying that there will be no sides on set, that you come memorized or you will not stay. And I panicked. I was like, what do you mean we can't have sides? Like, that's how I would make sure I was memorized in the morning in rehearsal. It became very clear to me that I had to learn how to memorize, like really memorize. And at that point, I created a system for myself. But I quit smoking. And I had always memorized while smoking because that was the thing that I could do that would distract my brain and allow me to memorize because I could sit outside for hours and just smoke. So I had to find something else to do. So then I would take my script and I would stand on a treadmill and I would walk for hours. Like I would walk 10 miles around the city of Santa Fe, memorizing my dialogue, the way that I broke it down, because you would go to set and you would be expected to be completely memorized for the entire day. And we were doing 9 to 11 pages a day. And I thought to myself, I'm not the lead of this show. He's the lead of this show and he's completely memorized. So if I show up unmemorized and I'm number 2 on a call sheet, there's no excuse. There's no excuse because he works more than I do. He says more than I do. And he's 100% memorized. Fuck. So, and now because of that, my memorization is like, I couldn't do some of the work I do now without having learned how to memorize like that. Because it became very, very clear to me that that's how I needed to memorize. So I start memorizing now months in advance.
Wow.
Yeah. And I will memorize the entire script before I even set foot on set now.
Wow. Well, it's a muscle, right? You got to strengthen that muscle and you work it out. And obviously you've worked it out to the point that it's finally honed.
Well, or is it like now it sort of almost feels like restrictive, like I've gone to a place where I'm now too restricted in my memorization and I'm craving the ability to be able to play in dialogue. I'm craving that.
What happens when they send out like double blue and all your words have changed?
It better be memorized.
Back to the drawing board.
Better be memorized. Yeah, back to the drawing board. But I find it, I don't know, like it's a skill. It's like you said, it is a muscle, and the more I use it, it's probably why I have such a bad memory, because my head is full of dialogue.
Yeah. I can do Shakespearean sonnets from the 9th grade. It's just there. It will not leave, no matter what I do.
Isn't that crazy?
So if Murder in a Small Town comes back for season 3, will you come up and do a guest star? And then you get to play? Yeah, all right, there we go. Now I will tell the producers. Tricia said yes. Mary said yes. You said yes.
There you go.
We'll bring the ladies of Battlestar up to, and then, you just say the words how you want to say them.
Yeah, we're also working on my Canadian permanent residency, so then I'll count as a tax credit.
Fun. Love it.
That's what happens when you marry a Canadian and your kids are Canadian. You sort of have to realize that you can't be the odd man out in a family. Like you all have to have similar citizenships and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to move here?
Potentially, eventually. Yeah. That would probably be cool. The plan, That is definitely the plan. I mean, we're looking at places. So.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly. So when are you guys done? Gibson's, we shot there, by the way. I did a Hallmark movie there. Loved Gibson's.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's beautiful. It's really, really great. Yeah. We're done. We're here till mid-June.
Okay. What's are you allowed to talk about what the story is now? Like what
well, it's the, it's sort of a continuation of season 1. Rossa Sutherland and Kristen Kruk have their relationship, and that continues on. And we have some awesome guest stars. Got Marcia Gay Harden joined the cast. She plays the mayor, and she is as lovely as they come.
I worked with her.
Did you?
I did in 2001. The show I did before Battlestar Galactica.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. She played the president of a school. I was on a show with Richard Dreyfuss, and I played his daughter, and she played the dean of the college that he worked at.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she's wonderful. She gave me the best advice I ever got as an actor. When I was 19 years old, I asked her if she had any advice for me, and she said, always trust your instincts. Always trust your instincts. Actors make things too difficult sometimes. Yeah. Trust your instincts.
Go with the first thought. Yeah, don't overthink it. Yeah, that's what I do. I usually don't have a second thought, so I just go with whatever's in front of me.
Yeah. She's wonderful. Tell her I said hi, please. Great.
I will. I will see her Thursday.
She might not remember me. It's 25 years ago.
She's a pretty clever woman. She remembers a lot of things.
Yeah.
She's fabulous. Cameron Manheim came up and did the show. She's hysterical. So it's the weekly whodunit, and then the through lines of other things. You get a lot more in depth in my character, his wife and his rebellious daughter. One of his daughters is rebelling, and so Sid's sort of overtaxed, and it's fun things to play. It's part cop stuff, part real person, real life stuff, and I'm really enjoying it for sure.
What's the plan with your graphic novels? Like, are you actively working on more ideas?
I do have more ideas. Mark and I are looking at doing the sequel to Borealis. We probably just do it on our own. I'm always just kind of rolling things through my brain. Truco's actually interested in an idea that I have, and once he gets back from South Africa or whenever he's back or whatever, if he is already back, he wants to explore some of that. So there's writing going on. The novels that are out there right now are sort of being shopped. But that's, outside of my life. I let those people do that.
What do you want to do with your career for the next 40 years? Do you have any aspirations of directing?
I get that a lot on this show. There's a lot of figuring it out. Rossif is a brilliant, brilliant guy. He's very much like me. It has to make sense. Like we have to be doing something that people would do in life. It can't be, well, no, I need that for my shot. I don't give a shit about your shot. Like, our job is to give a performance that matches the natural world, and your job is to capture that. But I really had a thing where I was going to do, okay, good for you, but I'm doing this because this is what I would do, the character would do. So there's a lot of figuring it out and pushing back and going, no, especially with some directors who haven't been on before. And I'm going to say too many things. So we do a lot of working it out. And I've had people that are like, next year you should direct an episode. It just feels like a lot of work. Like, the amount of time that goes into prep. And also, if you're on the show and you're directing the show and you have to prep and you have to shoot and you have to everything, it seems like a tall order. But, I'm open to the conversation because we're sort of half doing it now as it is. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
You should do it.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it.
Do it in season 3. Talk to them about potentially writing you pretty light in an episode, the episode that you're going to direct, and then, lean on your DP and make sure that the actors that are heavy in that episode are ones that, it's possible to just surround yourself with a really supportive group of people and just go for it. You know what I mean? And do the thing that Eddie used to always say. What did Eddie always say? Directing's not that hard. Put the camera where the story is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's the story?
And our camera guys are great. So that would be my thing. I'd just go, I'm going to work with the actors. We're going to get the performance. You guys figure out what you want to do and just shoot it. I'll go behind the thing and go, does it make sense for this angle instead? And if you tell me no, and here's why, okay, that makes sense.
You've got 2 very different types of directors. And I know you know this, but you've got the directors that used to be editors, so they know exactly what they want their shot to look like. And those guys are great because they can move really fast because they're editing as they're going, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the directors that come in that are actors, directors. That is what they focus on, acting. They focus on the performances. They focus on that. And then they lean very heavily on their crew and their DP and things like that. And then there are those times where you're blessed with someone that does both. But it's not the norm. Normally it's that there's a director that's really great in one thing or the other.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We've got our directing EP is Amanda Tapping.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
She's fantastic.
She's awesome. And, she knows the shots she wants and everything, but she farms that out to the camera guys. I want this and this. She storyboarded the whole thing. They're on board with it from those meetings, and they set up the shot. And then she just talks to the actors. What's the scene? What's the performance? And here we go.
I have 3 more questions for you. Number 1, completely out of left field. When we were filming Battlestar, because you had so many scenes with Nikki, did you have any idea what was going on?
Zero.
With NXIVM?
Not a clue. I didn't find out that till 5-6 years ago? Maybe even in Germany? Somebody sent me a thing and said, what do you know about this? I have no clue. What?
Interesting.
She what? I part of it is me being so private, Like, here's not my personal life and I'm not asking you about yours, but yeah, stunned. I was stunned. Would come to me and go, yeah, so what were you doing there with her? Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I literally, genuinely did not know. Did you?
No, I had no idea.
Not a clue.
I mean, I knew a little bit because it was brought up to me if I wanted to go to this thing. And, me being the complete headstrong, crazy person that I am was like, why the fuck would I need to do that?
Huh.
I'm great the way that I am.
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
I don't need help. Thank you so much. 20 years of therapy later. No, I think that's sort of, helped me to avoid that.
Yeah. That was a shock to me. I was genuinely surprised.
Yeah.
And I haven't spoken to her. I have no idea. I hope she has figured it out. I don't know where she is, but all the best to you. But that sounded like a pile of lunacy.
I have a question. This is from Carol. And she said, what is a song, food, book, or show that brings you special joy?
Oh, what a wonderful question. A song? Okay, I'll go with a song. There's a million songs, but the first one that popped into my mind is Elvis Presley singing True Love Travels on a Gravel Road.
I don't know that.
Oh, fabulous song. I'm sort of rabbit holing Instagram, not flash mob, but flash singer. Like suddenly just some tenor walks out in the middle of an Italian plaza and sings Nessun Dorma. And all these people are standing around going, what the hell's happening? Or there's that piano guy, that Emilio, and he's just playing in a mall somewhere. And somebody walks up and goes, can you play this? Yeah. And then they just destroy the song. Like, I sit on set and I just go, this is unbelievable. Something very classical, of food. Oh man. There's all kinds of foods that bring me great joy. I make myself these skillets. I roast off vegetables and I take a large tortilla and I put it in a cast iron pot and I put the, like a cast iron skillet. And I take the vegetables and I mix them with cottage cheese and egg and some like cheddar or some grana padano. If I want, I'll do like vegetarian sausages that I chop up and I stir all that up and then I put it in and I bake it. And then it comes out. So it's kind of like a quiche in a tortilla shell, but it's all veggies and like it's super healthy.
Yeah.
And that I just take and it's a bed picnic and I watch my show and I fall asleep. I eat way too late, but that's fine.
What's the show?
Whatever show I'm watching. Oh, my show?
No, what's
the show?
The good show that you're watching right now?
I am rewatching probably for the 25th time Deadwood. Deadwood is my all-time favorite show.
Okay.
It is brilliant. Every time I start a new show, I put Deadwood on in my trailer because I can pause it, go work, come back to my trailer, hit play, and pick it up right where I left off. I can have a nap and just listen to it as I'm sort of having a little nap. And I love that show.
Huh.
That's
awesome.
We were shooting Battlestar, and the box set for season 3 came out one day, and I was in every single scene. And I went to the ADs and I said, I have to go to the store and buy this. Or I will lose my mind. And they said, well, you're in every scene. I said, I'll go at lunch. No, we don't have time. I can get there and back. I won't even change. I'll run in my green BDUs as the chief and buy this thing and come back. And they said, don't have time. I was so crushed. And we were going to wrap and the stores were going to be closed. And at wrap, I walked into my trailer and I was annoyed because I didn't get this thing. I wouldn't get it till tomorrow. And there it was. Sharon MacArthur sent a transpo guy with money to go buy this thing and leave it in my trailer. And I took it home and I put in the first CD and I started watching. And then I finished the season and I looked at the phone and it said, or looked at the clock and it was like, you have 17 minutes to get back to set because you have to, I stayed up all night. I didn't sleep. I watched the entire thing and went, oh crap, I got to go back to work. So I just put it in my set bag and I ran out the door and I jumped in my car and I drove right back to the stage, to the lot, and right back into my trailer and went, hey, oh no, yeah, okay. Walked into hair and makeup and they're like, what did you do? What did you do? I said, sorry, I didn't even shower. So they just kind of went, powder. Okay, go. And that was it. Yeah. And then of course I watched it again and again and again. But yeah, that was one of those. It was one of those Portlandia moments of just one more.
Yeah.
And you're not even paying attention to what time it is. So.
I did that with Alias while we were filming.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just binged it. Jennifer Garner is like amazing. Just one of my favorite people. Thank you for taking the time to do this.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
I feel like we didn't even like scratch the surface of your career because we just spent the last hour and 10 minutes catching up.
Yeah, which is there's nothing wrong with that.
So we'll have to do it again when the show
we can always
airs.
have Aaron Douglas part 2.
We could do a Trucco and Douglas, and we could do a roundtable podcast with everyone that's up in Canada while we're filming. We'll figure it out. We'll see each other soon. And I will see you in like the next month and a half.
Awesome.
This has been wonderful.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Hey everyone, welcome to The Hindsight. I am still Katee Sackhoff. I say that every single time like it's a joke. And I am joined by Jeff Porter, my producer / co-host / person that does this with me / I don't even know what you are right now, Jeff.
Long-suffering cohort.
It's true.
We got to start doing these in the morning, I think.
We do, because my brain, I feel like I turn into an insane person as the day goes on.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to go to the eye doctor tomorrow, Jeff, because I am going to find out what is going on with my eyeballs.
I thought I'm going to find out what eyes are. I have an update. I made a dentist appointment. Actually, by the time this episode comes out, I will have gone to the dentist.
Oh my God, I hope you don't have like tooth rot or something.
I mean, me too.
I'm proud of you.
My teeth are pretty okay, knock on wood. I mean,
they are. I have a question though. Have I contributed to you making this appointment?
I mean, 100%, yes.
Okay, just making sure.
It's always been on my mind, but now we have to fucking talk about it every week. And so, yeah.
I just want to make sure that I get the acknowledgement of said appointment.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll let you know how it goes, though.
Just doing the Lord's work over here.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Should we talk about Aaron a little bit?
We should. Yeah.
So there's a lot I didn't know about Aaron. I mean, obviously fan of his from Battlestar, and I've seen him in a couple of other things. I haven't watched Murder in a Small Town yet.
Looks good though, eh?
Yeah.
Shoots in Canada.
Are you working on that Canadian accent? So since you're slowly becoming Canadian?
I am slowly but surely.
Yeah.
I used to deny be offended every time someone was like, are you Canadian? And now they're like, are you Canadian? I'm like, sure as shit.
Yeah. By marriage, yes. Is Aaron Canadian?
Aaron is Canadian. So Battlestar Galactica, I don't know if we've talked about this before. I think we have. Battlestar Galactica was the first American series that shot in Canada that had regular contracts with that many Canadian actors.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, they've been shooting stuff up there forever, but they were bringing in majority American.
They were bringing in Americans and they were using Canadians, but not in a series regular capacity.
Right.
And we had tons of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turns out there are actors in Canada.
It turns out there are.
And good ones, too.
Yeah.
So I didn't know Aaron was also a writer, though. He's written a bunch of comic books and a couple of novels.
He has with Mark Verheiden, right?
I guess, yeah. I mean, I haven't read any of them. This is my discovery of his comic books, and I'm interested in checking them out. Mm-hmm. I'm sure some people listening are aware of this and are fans of it, but that's exciting to know. And it kind of made me think, because you guys were talking a little bit about how he ad-libbed a lot of lines and how he would contribute also to, he tells a story a bit about Jamie not necessarily being able to ad-lib sometimes.
Or wanting to. Well, Jamie was also doing an American accent.
It's true.
So he had a lot more to think about than just like, hey, here I am at work.
True,
he was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I find it slightly like offensive. So Aaron has this thing where he used to say that he really didn't memorize other people's lines. He still talked about it. Mm-hmm. This one, he doesn't read the scripts. And it's just bullshit, my line. Bullshit, my line. And I don't know if he still feels that way. But then to loop me in on that, I was like, I have never felt like that, buddy. Like, I have never not read the scripts. Like, maybe once or twice during Battlestar when, like, my character was very, like, she was not really in the episode. And I was like, I mean, so much memorization. And so we would get the scripts. When you're doing 22 episodes a season, like, that's a lot of reading. That's a lot of memorization. Yeah. Sometimes you don't have the luxury of reading the whole script as well as you should.
I mean, he had a good excuse when he said, or not excuse, but a good reason when he said, my character doesn't know what the other one's going to say, which is a very fun way of getting around.
That is a very convenient way to validate not doing all the work that you should. I mean, but listen, God love him. Aaron has always been this person. Yeah. Aaron has always been a little, Mr. Fuck It.
Well, sure, yeah. And we talk a little bit recently about actor process. So this is just his process.
It is his process. And you can't fault him for it. Like he doesn't, I don't remember ever working with Aaron and feeling as if he didn't bring something to the scene. He does. Yeah. He is chief.
Yeah.
He was chief. Like, that was just who he was. You know what I mean? And he's very good at it. And he created an opportunity for himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think a couple of things too that we could explain to people. First, he talked about being a reader for the show. Can you explain what a reader is?
Yes. Okay. So when you are auditioning for a project, you're an actor that goes in. Let's say that Jeff is the casting director. Mm-hmm. I'm the actor, and the casting director is auditioning me. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, a lot of the times, you will walk in and it's not the casting director who's reading opposite you. So it's not the person playing the other character in the scene. It is someone else because the casting director wants to focus on you. Or sometimes it is the casting director that's reading with you, but they have someone else operating the camera and someone else doing this and blah, blah, blah. But a lot of times they will actually have another actor that they bring in that will be the person that you read with. And the reason they do that is so they, as the casting director, can focus on you, but also you get a better read out of the actor you're auditioning if the person you're reading with is an actor as well, and not just a person that's like my mom when she's like, and then I went here, I did go there. She bows her head.
Yeah.
Mom, that's stage direct. You know what I mean?
Well, this is me when Allison does self-tapes, and she's like, she'll always be like, could you like put a little more energy into it? And I'm like, this is what I got.
I'm bargain basement, babe.
Yeah.
It's like, so nice to have married someone that went to theater school.
Yeah. Maybe I should see if Robin wants to read with Allison.
He doesn't want to read with me, Jeff.
Oh, I know.
I hate it. I have like wife guilt every time I'm like, hey.
Does it cause fights between you?
I mean, sometimes, yeah, it does. Because the last thing Robin wants to do is be helping me with an audition. And I get very passive aggressive because I hate auditioning on tape. And you can tell. You can tell that my energy, my enthusiasm, my confidence when I'm doing self-tapes is like in the toilet.
Yeah.
And so he is not only trying to be like my reader and the cameraman and the sound guy, but he's also trying to be like, you know, my cheerleader. But he's also my husband who's conscious of the fact that he has work to do and we got 2 kids. And like, he's like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
And then I get frustrated. Sometimes I cry. I cry a lot during self-tapes.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Glad it's not just me.
No, it sounds familiar. I mean, it's a vulnerable position, and I get it, but it's certainly a thing where I have to tap into every reserve of patience that I have.
Oy.
Have you ever been a reader on a project?
No.
Yeah.
No.
You know, famously, Harrison Ford was the reader on Star Wars, and that's what got him. I had no idea.
That's crazy.
Yeah, famously, he was working at Lucasfilm because he had been in American Graffiti, one of his first movies, and after that, Lucas like hired him to do like carpentry work.
Yeah, he was a carpenter until he was like 40, right?
Yeah, and he was at Lucasfilm doing like fixing doors and stuff, and then they were like, hey, can you read, because you're an actor, because you were in this movie, can you just read with these people for this new movie called Star Wars? And he was like, sure. And then he read with everybody, and then they were like, he's great, he should be Han Solo. And that's how he got that.
Wow.
One other term, he mentioned double blue in reference to scripts.
So when you get your script, your shooting script from production, it will say draft 1. And that is production. That is when it has been cleared. This is the shooting script. It's called a locked script. There's no more, like, they're not changing anything drastically anymore. Like, this is supposedly, that is your shooting script. They will send that to the actors. This is the locked script. Subsequently, after that, every time they change a line or a person's name, they have to send another draft out, or they will send you just those pages as replacements. Well, every time they do that, in order to keep things succinct, they will do it in a different color. So it usually starts with pink. Pink revisions are what they're called. Then they'll do it again. Now you've got blue revisions. Then they'll do it again. Then you got yellow revisions. Then they'll do it again. Now you got green revisions. Then they'll do it again. Now you've got salmon revisions. Then they do it again. And then you've got goldenrod rewrites. Then once you've run out of the fucking rainbow at Kinko's, you go back to blue. And they go, now you got double blue revisions. Now you got double pink. Now you got double yellow. All on a white script that was never meant to be changed.
And how often do you see scripts going that deep into revisions?
Not often, but it does happen. It does happen. I believe I've gotten to double goldenrod at a point.
Double goldenrod.
And they will give you the option. So you can either go through, which is like, I love it. I find it oddly satisfying. I will go through and I will actually do the pages. Like, I'll be like, okay, 17, 18, 19, take those out. 17, 18, 19, put those in. Okay, 23, 24A, take those out, put these in. Or they will send you a collated double goldenrod. And this is the whole script, double goldenrod. You can either print this whole script or you can print the double goldenrod pages, which is like, 8
so
pages.
They're giving these to you digitally?
So it used to be tactile and like you would get these scripts. And that was what it was until everything sort of went digital. And I think that the first time I started seeing people actually memorize and have a digital script, Bailey Chase from Longmire was the first person I ever saw bring an iPad to set instead of a script. Now, that's all people have. I am a dinosaur and I cannot memorize off of an iPad. So I will read a script off of an iPad and then I contractually make them send me a script or I will print it myself.
Yeah.
For Mandalorian, you can't print it because they have it on red paper, blood red paper, specifically so you can't print it. So they have to print it for you and then So.
And then threaten your family.
And then threaten your family with like 8 scripts that are like bright red, the color blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what blue or double blue is.
All right. We didn't talk about it yet. We talked about it a little bit on the Patreon, I believe last week, but I don't know if you want to talk about it here, but you're in Carrie.
Yeah.
That's come out now with Mike and Michael and Kate.
And not to talk about another Battlestar Galactica person, but Tomo Pennicott, who played Hilo, was also brought up. So I am now working with Michael Trucco and Tomo Pennicott in the same project again.
Yeah. I guess you did mention it. You did mention it in this episode with Aaron that you are in.
We're coming up there.
Yes. So you guys are going to all go hang out. And you mentioned that you might do a Battlestar Roundtable podcast. So just let me know when that's happening and I'll come up and we'll make that happen.
You know, the thing that, to bring it back to Aaron, that really breaks my heart is that while we were filming, he had to go through the loss of his wife.
Yeah.
And he did it alone.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine.
Yeah.
What he was going through. And then we criticized and made fun of him for being grumpy all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would have been fucking grumpy too.
Yeah. I mean, you have some idea of what that's like now. I mean, obviously not to that extent, but a little bit of an idea. And he talked a lot about being a loner and all that stuff. So I'm a bit like that myself too. And I can see exactly why somebody would not want to bring that up, but it does suck.
Yeah. It makes me really sad.
Well, it seems like he's doing well now. He seems like he talked about how he helps people that are currently going through similar situations and stuff.
Yeah, he's from the show, which is also awful.
Yeah.
So many women will be afflicted with breast cancer.
Yep.
It's terrifying to me. And, you know, there are so many ways to get screening and, you know, one of which being the mammogram. And, you know, I get as we've talked about on the show, the MRIs now because my boobs are so dense. It just, since we have a majority male audience, I should explain what dense breasts mean.
Yes, please.
Dense breast means, like, I don't think a man would know what a dense breast is, but a dense breast means that it's less fat and more, I don't know. I don't even know what more of, but basically what it means is that like you, like,
do you know what it is?
They're lumpy and bumpy. And for some reason, like they look the same, no one would know, but for whatever reason, dense breasts can't, the mammogram cannot see through them. It can't detect cancer as well. It having a dense breast raises your risk of breast cancer exponentially.
Right.
Because they can't see cancer.
Yeah. Well, there's your PSA, everyone. Go get your breasts checked out.
Yeah, go get your boobs checked out.
Or not get them checked out.
Well, and if you have dense breasts and they say to you, you have dense breasts, fucking demand that they are doing ultrasound at the bare minimum of both of your breasts as well, every single mammogram, but also that you get MRI.
Yeah.
And then fight your insurance company because having dense breasts makes you more susceptible to breast cancer.
Yeah.
So you have to.
Yeah.
Let's go into the mail sack. Let's do it.
Mail sack. We're going to the mail sack. Mail sack. Why are we calling it mail sack?
Y'all can email us at thesackoffshow@gmail.com. Email from Nil. Hey, Katie. Hey, Jeff. I'm Nil. I'm 27. I'm from Spain. I just wanted to tell you that a couple of years ago, I watched Battlestar Galactica with my father for the first time, I know, quite late. And it became a very special event due to a difficult personal situation we were going through. It is a magnificent and my favorite series, and I will always remember spending those challenging moments together with my father. I'll be going with my sister to the BSG convention in September in New Jersey. I hope I can meet you all. It would be a real dream. As I know this section is about answering questions, here's mine. Which BSG actor do you think, in your opinion, was more similar to the character he played, excluding you? Thanks, guys. Whoa.
Well, first, Nil, I hope we're saying your name right. Katee, as she said, will be at the convention. That's the one in New Jersey, right?
That's the one in New Jersey. I am there Friday only.
So make sure you come say hi to Katee on Friday.
Which character was a lot like their...
I mean, I think one thing, if I can jump in to help you.
Yeah, please.
A lot of those characters were so well casted that they were all very similar. I mean, Eddie, kind of the natural leader of the group and very inspiring. And
yeah, I mean, everybody's a little similar to their character. Aaron was really similar to his character. Tama was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everyone was to a certain extent playing pieces of themselves.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of, I feel like Dean Stockwell. I feel like that's who he was. Rest in peace. I can't remember, but, and I was not like my character. Not really. Not really.
You weren't chain smoking then?
I was, but not cigars.
Hard drinking?
Only wine.
Did you have a chip on your shoulder?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Huh?
No, only with my dad.
So nothing like your character.
Yeah, right. Maybe a little bit. Should we do one comment and then go into the...
Sure.
Okay.
Let's do the bottom one there with from Peter Bocelli. In response to Brent Spiner talking about Star Trek versus Star Wars.
Okay. At Peter_Bocelli_time says, you know what's really, really different? Star Search.
I thought that was funny.
Is Star Search still on the air?
I don't think so, no. I mean, I think
so.
I think American Idol and America's Got
Took
Talent
over.
And The Voice and all that are basically Star Search.
They basically are. Like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I've been like picking a fingernail the entire time I've been online. I'm sorry for all of you people out there that have been listening to that. My husband would kill me.
Fantastic.
On that note, we are going to go into our Patreon, everyone, our extended version of our hindsight, where we are going to answer some more questions, but we're also going to maybe talk about work and more stuff. I got to pee. What else are we going to talk about in the Patreon?
I'm going to reveal one of my favorite scenes from Battlestar that has Aaron in it. You're not in it, I'm sorry, but Aaron is in it. And it's one of the scenes I always think about from Battlestar, which we'll talk about in the Patreon.
Are you going to show it?
Yeah, I have it pulled up here.
Perfect. Okay. All right. To everybody else, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next Tuesday, and that's what's up.